I'm very honored to be here and present Fiorella Battaglia, the keynote lecturer of this afternoon. Fiorella is many things. She has got many lives, I think, to do all the things she did. She is now head of the Laboratory for Ethics in the Wild at the Digital Humanities Center at the University of Salento, where she is also professor. And at the same time, that's why she lives many lives together, associate professor at the Ludwig Maximilian Universität in Munich. Her research explores the transformative effects of the emerging technologies and maps their ethical issues and sides of these technologies. She is an ethical expert for a number of European Commission departments providing advice on policy activities. She is now principal investigator in the project RoboLaw. She was, I'm sorry, the project ended, but this project is RoboLaw, Regulating Emerging Robotic Technologies in Europe, Robotics Facing Law and Ethics. It's a Horizon project funded by the EU Commission, but she's now PI of the European Commission-funded project AINCP. The acronym means Artificial Intelligence in Cerebral Palsy at the University of Salento. She's also in the editorial board of Frontiers in Neuroscience and Digital Society. Among her many publications, I can mention her last book in German, Natur des Menschen, ein normativer Entwurf of 2023, but also I would like to mention Rethinking Responsibility in Science and Technology, 2014, and The Anthropological System, and another book I translate because it's in Italian, Environment and Health, a Risky Relationship. In general, the themes of her research are the challenges and ethical opportunities posed by emerging technologies, such as robotics, which she devoted a lot of energies and research, to personal identity and democracy. So, thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I give you the floor. The title of the lecture is Democracy and Education at the Time of AI and Neurosciences. Thank you, Fiorella.
Good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for the kind invitation. I am very happy to be here and very honored to give this keynote lecture in this conference. So I have been given this topic, so democracy and education at the time of artificial intelligence and neuroscience. So then I will give you a short introduction, and then I will speak about the entanglement of artificial intelligence and neuroscience, and then I will give you a survey about ethical concerns regarding the impact on democracy and education. So first of all, I have some claims, so it's not very argumentative presentation because it's more a survey and an analysis. So we have a kind of ambivalence toward artificial intelligence and technology. So optimism, we have some kind of optimism because intelligence is the means by which we solve problems. And we have concerns because we fear that the most popular and fashionable strain of artificial intelligence, I think about ChatGPT and large language models and machine learning, will degrade our science. And they base our ethics by incorporating into our technology a fundamental, this is the main claim, sorry, a flawed and wrong conception of language and knowledge. So this is the main claim of this presentation. But I need a very long detour in order to prove this claim. So you may think that this title, so the entanglement, the close entanglement of democracy and education is in some way reminiscent of Dewey pragmatism. Think about democracy and education from 1916. However, my argumentation will be somehow different. I will arrive at the entanglement of democracy and education by a quite different route, one that involves reflection on the possible character of artificial intelligence, as well on the possible character of neuroscience and neuroengineering, and on their relation, on their connection. As you can see from Dewey, he says that there are two elements in our educational system which are important for education and for democracy. The first is that we need varied points of shared common interest. So we need plurality of point of view, we need diversity, and the second element means that we must be able to account for development, for evolution. And these two elements, which are fundamental for education, for training, for teaching, are also very important for our democratical system. So this is Dewey. We will come back to this point. And this is the actual situation in our time, so where everything will become intelligent. We have not only smartphones, but also smart homes, smart factories, smart cities. So the question is, will we have an enhanced democracy or enhanced educational system? I have three claims regarding this point. So we are in the middle of the technological revolution that will transform the way in which society is organized. And then we need to make the right decision and now. So the first claim is about, I don't know, where is, okay. So this ambivalence toward technology, this is not something new, because we know this attitude toward technology at least from 1877. I will not speak about Plato and Phaedro, but Ernest Kapp, in Elements of Philosophy of Technology, he says that technologies act in two directions. They exteriorize and enhance human feature or capabilities, but they substitute and deactivate body and mental functions. This could lead both to the liberation from physical constraint or to an atrophy of certain faculties, function, or performances. As you can see, so this ambivalence, so this concerns, so this attitude that we have, that there is opportunities, there is possibilities, but there are also challenges for our way of life. It's not something new. But this is not only an attitude in academia. So here you can see the cover from The Economist from 2015, and they also already said that powerful computers will reshape humanity's future. How to ensure the promise outweighs the perils. So this was already a topic almost 10 years ago. And last year, we have again the cover of The Economist, how to worry wisely about artificial intelligence. So you can see opportunities and challenges. And so it conveys also this cover, it conveys the very same idea. So this is conducive toward uncertainty, so this revolution, as to which approach to follow. Now, this is more a remark about my methodology. So I will frame the focus on democracy and education within a broader tendency appeared in recent times in political philosophy, according to which philosophy has shifted its focus toward investigating wrongdoings, particularly the occurrence of truth, rather than pursuing ideal theory. It is more easy to deal with the risks that we are going to face than to develop, to find consensus about an ideal theory of democracy. So I think, we have already some examples in political philosophy, but also in moral theory. I think about Miranda Fricker's Epistemic Injustice or Sally Aslanger's investigations of social wrongs about gender, race, and disability. So as I said, while democracy itself is a contested concept and points to a variety of norms, so we can have deliberative democracy, liberal democracy, republicanism as a form of democracy, and antagonist democracy. So it's very difficult to find just one theory of democracy, but then we are able to find consensus about the risks and the threats for democracy. So, and this will be the outline of the talk. First of all, artificial intelligence in neuroscience and democracy, and then in education, promises, possible failures, and then ethical concerns. So first of all, how can we think about the integration of artificial intelligence in neuroscience? So this integration is characterized by three main objectives. First of all, the first is to decode natural intelligence. So through models of artificial intelligence, we are able to understand human natural intelligence. So this is the first objective. The second is the integration of human and artificial intelligence to control digital machines, and we have a lot of examples in the field of rehabilitation. And the third is to augment and enhance human natural intelligence with artificial intelligence. So as you can see here, artificial brains are helping scientists study the real thing. And so this is for you, Fabio, this slide, because as you can see, no model is perfect. So this was your point yesterday, but that doesn't stop them being useful. So then I think your point was that we should grant artificial intelligence the same degree of mediocrity, so the same low level that we observe in humans. And so as we have ordinary human intelligence, we can also accept ordinary artificial intelligence. Although maybe we can discuss this later on. And this is about the second objective of this integration between artificial intelligence and neuroengineering. So as you can see, music can be reconstructed starting from brain activity. Therefore, we are able to understand something of the human intelligence starting from these artificial models. And quite the same study concerns images, and then here we can high-resolution image reconstruction with human brain activity. So starting from the human brain activity through models which integrate artificial intelligence in neuroscience, we are able to reconstruct images and music. So as you can see, we can get some knowledge of the human brain from the artificial brain from these models. So this is the second objective, which is the integration of human and artificial intelligence to control digital machines. And so you can see here we have assistive brain-computer interfaces, and then we can have rehabilitative brain-computer interfaces. So for communication and for rehabilitation. This is the last, so the third objective, so neurotechnology used in order to enhance and augment the human brain. And so this is the last slide about so the possibilities that we have to integrate these two kind of technologies in order to understand the human brain. Now, so artificial intelligence and its impact on democracy. So in the literature on artificial intelligence and its impact on democracy, there are three major debates that have emerged. The first debate is about privacy and surveillance, and because contemporary algorithmic governance is made possible by big data systems, and these systems are what drive machine learning algorithms to develop impressive abilities to sort and mine data. So this system would not be possible without mass surveillance. So therefore, we have the opportunities, but we have also the risks. And then threats for democracy, to democracy. So you may be very familiar with the book by Shoshana Zuboff about the age of surveillance capitalism and the fight for a human future at the new frontier of power. And the second debate is about bias and inequality, and studies have been done trying to highlight the biases that arise in different domains, such as the apparent racial bias of the predictive policing and predictive sentencing algorithms that are widely used in the US. So and this is the last one, the third, which is the debate about transparency and procedure, which are very important, relevant in democracy. And the major concerns about machine learning algorithms is that they are relatively opaque in the way in which they operate. They are black boxes changing the world around them without being readily comprehensible to the human beings affected. So this is something very strange, and this threatens many of the procedural values that we hold dear in democratic societies. So this slide is just to illustrate this trend from black box to algorithm veil, and this transition presents several challenges and risks that need to be addressed. First of all, lack of transparencies, so accountability, questions related to bias and discrimination, data privacy, and some other ethical implications. Here also we have a seminal book by Cathy O'Neill, Weapons of Mass Destruction, How Big Data Increases Inequality and Threatens Democracy. So now we will turn on artificial intelligence in education. So this is a survey published in China about artificial intelligence in online higher education. And so these three scholars, they conducted a systematic review of artificial intelligence and investigated the literature regarding the use of artificial intelligence from 2011 to 2020. So the findings show that performance prediction, resource recommendation, automatic assessment, and improvement of learning experiences are the four main functions of AI application in online higher education. So you can see here, so the pie of the four major functions of AI application. And so the positive effects were identified by using artificial intelligence application in online education to improve the instruction and learning quality. And as you can see, so high quality of AI-enabled prediction, high quality of AI-enabled recommendation based on student characteristics, so more personalized supervising, an improvement of students' academic performances, and an improvement in online engagement and participation. So this is another survey conducted in the US by these two scholars, and they provide a systematic review examining artificial intelligence in higher education up to the end of 2022. The main point of this survey is that there are unique findings in the switch from US to China in the most published studies, a 2- to 3-fold increase in studies published in 2021 and 2022, confronted with the prior years. And artificial intelligence in education was used for assessment and evaluation, for predicting, for artificial intelligence assistant, intelligent tutoring system, and managing student learning. So the role of artificial intelligence was in learning management systems, personalized learning, administrative automation, because teaching are just not teachers and students, but also administration, and then the question of large language models. So how artificial intelligence is used in higher education? You can see 6 major codes emerged from this survey. So assessment, evaluation, predicting, assistant, intelligent tutoring system, managing student learning. And then starting from 2022-23, so the introduction of a large language model, also known as ChatGPT. And these are some results. 72% of the studies focused on students, 17% on instructors, and 11% on managers. So the ethical concerns about the use of artificial intelligence regard data privacy, risk associated with handling student and staff data, bias and fairness, ensuring that AI systems do not perpetuate or amplify biases, transparency and accountability, so maintaining clarity about AI decision-making processes, and then job displacement, addressing concerns over AI replacing human roles. And now, so introducing the ChatGPT, as this is a snapshot from the ChatGPT homepage is a good overview of what OpenAI says that the ChatGPT can do. So we have some other introductions, and then this is the GPT-4 system card. As you can see, there is a big content warning, and they say this document contains content that some may find disturbing or offensive, including content that is sexual, hateful, or violent in nature. So as you see, so the awareness about the risk of ChatGPT are there present. So this is a comparison of performances between ChatGPT 3.5 and ChatGPT 4. As you can see, on various standardized text with ChatGPT 3.5. Here you can see, so the best performance of ChatGPT 4 is in the uniform bar exam. So, sorry. Okay, and these are, so how can we use ChatGPT in higher education? So these are 6 points. So personalized learning assistance, administrative automation, content creation and course development, language learning. This is a very good point. So the field of language learning is very much, ChatGPT is very beneficial for language learning, research assistance, and facilitating procedures. This is a very nice article from an educator who tested the new ChatGPT 4 before its release, and she offers advice for faculty members on how to respond. So she has the opportunity to test ChatGPT 4 before its launch, its release. And first of all, she says, it's a dead end to focus on designing prompts that artificial intelligence won't be good at. You can remember that at the beginning was, so we can formulate tasks or prompts which are impossible to be performed by ChatGPT. And then, so another possibility to escape artificial intelligence was to give, so for student assignment. So we are talking about student assignment, to give some assignment in multimedia. So then we have images, because at the beginning, ChatGPT was not able to provide research images or video, and then she says, don't depend on multimedia assignment to evade artificial intelligence for long, and she was right. And then the same advice she tells, don't depend on genre like personal narrative and metacognitive reflection to prevent students from using AI. We know now that ChatGPT is able to provide narration to provide in first person, in the first person. So this is a very important point. So it's the title of the article. Don't assume that if AI can perform some tasks or something, it's not worth assigning. So this should not be a problem that AI is able to perform. This is not a reasonable motive in order to not give this task. And then the two other advice concerns focus on motivation and the writing process itself with the student, and explore the nature and risk of AI with the students, who are sometimes better than the supervisor and the teachers, so they have more familiarity with these new tools. This is another article about the introduction of ChatGPT in the educational field, and it's more radical, and John Warner says it may be a good time to have a discussion about teaching and education at universities, so that if ChatGPT is able to convey these concerns, then it's time to discuss how we teach, how the educational system in the university. So now we have this other paper in Nature. This is not about students, but it's about researchers and teachers, because Gemma Convoy in this recent article appeared on Nature discusses how some scientific papers failed to disclose the use of artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, so not just the students, but also the researchers. So don't know how to use, correctly use ChatGPT. So then, as a summary, so both ChatGPT 3 and ChatGPT 4, they make up facts and sources, and their outputs contain mistakes in reasoning and analysis. So this is a very famous example. You may know, so why Meta's latest large language model survived only 3 days online, because it was able to give a long literature on the life of bears in the space. So then this is about creation of fake news. And so you may be familiar with this paper on the dangers of stochastic parrots. This is a paper from 2021. And so they focused on the possible risks associated with this technology, and they focused on the environmental and financial cost of these large language models. And then they said maybe we need to reconsider this how large should these models be. So maybe this is not a good research strategy. And this is another review from Kevin Fuchs And this is very important because he is focusing on some epistemological concerns. And so as you can see, the question is ChatGPT a blessing or a curse in the educational field? And he says that ethical concerns, according to Kevin Fuchs, that we have a loss of accuracy, and so we can testify over reliance on ChatGPT and on artificial intelligence, and we are experiencing some linguistic limitation, such as so a loss of linguistic diversity and a loss of pragmatic versatility. And this is a good point in order to relate to what Dewey was saying about education and democracy, which both need diversity and pluralism. In this article, we can find the main point of my argumentation. So the article is from this year, from 2024, and these two scholars, Lisa Messeri and Crockett, they say that artificial intelligence and the illusion of understanding scientific research. So then the idea is that artificial intelligence in research, but also with the impact on education and democracy, is changing what we think that knowledge should be. And this could be a problem. So they focus on cognitive diversity, which means that we need differences in how people think and approach a problem, and this can come from a disciplinary training, from skills, from career stage, or neurodivergence. And we need demographic diversity, so differences in race, class, gender, sexuality, culture, religion, ethnicity, ability, age, and so on. So all this diversity often map onto different life experience. But when we apply artificial intelligence, all these conditions that we need in order to get some diversity and pluralism in our knowledge are not more there. So what we now experience is a monoculture of knowers. Which emerges from prioritizing a particular standpoint and all of the values and assumptions that it contains. And this influences the research questions that are asked and the way evidence is interpreted. Vision of artificial intelligence for science reinforces the idea of a singular, authoritative, objective knower with an unbiased we from nowhere. And the philosophers are very well familiar with the critics of this standpoint already formulated by Thomas Nagel, the view from nowhere. So this detached attitude that Thomas Nagel criticized in 1989. And he says that human beings have the unique ability to view the world in a detached way. We can think about the world in terms that transcend our own experience or interest, and consider the world from a vantage point that, in his words, is nowhere in particular. But at the same time, each of us is a particular person in a particular place, each with his own personal view of the world, a view that we can recognize as just one aspect of the whole. So his last advice was, how do we reconcile these two standpoints, intellectually, morally, and practically? And these epistemic insights, I think, are very useful in order to comprehend what are the risks for democracy. So because artificial intelligence comes with visions about science and knowledge which are enhanced by AI. So we have this promise of an enhanced scientific productivity by overcoming scientists' limited time, attention, and cognitive capacities. And So the other promise is the enhancement of scientific objectivity by becoming limited rather than enhance scientific understanding. And therefore, so along with the ethical concern already expressed by Fuchs, so my own suggestion is what we should consider are the epistemic risks. So together with the loss of accuracy or the over-reliance and the loss of linguistic diversity and pragmatic versatility, there are epistemic risks when scientists trust AI as knowledge production partners. And so because they are connected with the loss of diversity, the loss of pluralism, which are relevant both for education and democracy. So this is the question for future research from this paper by Messeri and Crockett, and they say, what is the nature of knowledge in predictive and generative AI? So not just the anthropological question of our conference, but we should also investigate so the epistemic question. How we understand knowledge at time of artificial intelligence and neuroscience. Could AI systems be capable of understanding? And if so, how would it differ from human understanding? So we need a new epistemology, maybe. What kinds of epistemic dependence arise in human and artificial intelligence collaboration? How should the theories of scientific understanding be updated as artificial intelligence tools are incorporated into scientific knowledge production? As you can see, more questions than answers in this presentation. And this is so the conclusion of my talk. Then implementing ethical AI needs strategies for such as ethical artificial intelligence audits, stakeholder engagement, and continuous monitoring. And it is important, so inclusivity and diversity also in the AI development teams. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Battaglia, for this insightful lecture. You correctly highlighted the necessity of raising the question concerning the epistemic side of the topic. So we tend to focus on the ethical aspects, on the consequences of the use of this tool, while there are very important epistemic questions that you correctly raised. But I want to leave the floor for questions. We have first Guillaume Mathieu, please, the main coordinator of our, principal investigator of our project. So please.
Yeah, but now talking just on my own. With my own responsibility. No, just thanks a lot. It was really wonderful, very informative and stimulating. Was just willing, even if I totally agree with the epistemic risks, importance of looking at that, was willing also maybe to ask you about an additional ethical risks, not disconnected, but it's, okay, it can't kill in some sense anything that's worth preserving, but I'm wondering whether there is not the risk of not looking at, re-looking, or we have an opportunity, I think, and it's a risk if we don't do that, re-looking at what are the goals of our academic and education communities. Because what I see here when I heard about researchers using AI to publish, it's for what? What is, because of course we want to be higher, as high as possible in the rankings. Students, they want as high grades as possible, but is that not only, at least I believe, the signal of something happening in the background, so it's indicating that something is happening. But so don't we risk, if we don't look those needs again and try to have algorithms that serve the right needs or the right goals, to have algorithm that serves increasing even the disconnection between those KPI and what they should signal, I think. You see that fundamental problem, because I guess what we first want is to leave something within a community, with the students, with our fellow researchers. And so I'm afraid that if we don't ask the question that way, we might have algorithm that will serve the indicators, but not really, it won't be the same algorithm that might serve the real goal behind the indicators, or at least we need to look at that gap between both. Thank you, but thanks again a lot.
Thank you for the question. So, yeah, I think so that there is this myth of productivity, and then so students and teachers both of them are victims of these goals, and artificial intelligence enforce these visions about education and then so. Also in democracy. So, so maybe we can argue with the Habermas, so that there are at least three different dimensions in our way of life. There is so in the economy, so productivity is a good standard. So we should pursue productivity. And then we have the administration, bureaucracy is a good standard. But in the everyday life, in the other dimension, so these two criteria are not able to ensure so the human condition. So therefore, so no productivity, no bureaucracy. So there are other ethical standards. So the communication between the diversity and so on. I think this could be a way in order to deal with the question.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. I have just a comment, not really a question. You mentioned on the capabilities that a researcher had with ChatGPT, you mentioned article summarization, which is, I wanted to just comment that those articles can be in any language. And so ChatGPT will summarize the article for you in your native language. And if it's properly configured, if you have a very large reference, you can ask it, please tell me where in this large reference this particular topic is, and it will find it for you and give you the extract and the translation into your native language. So I find that particularly useful because I only speak English, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm not denying that ChatGPT is useful, and so I am fascinated, and I can see how I can spare some time of my research time. So I am optimist, but so we need to be in control and to use for so the aims that we state, and not for the aims that the algorithms state instead of us. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Laura.
I'm Laura Palazzani of LUMSA, and thank you really very much for your presentation. I was thinking about also the malevolent use of AI in education, because in a recent Congress that was a sort of network of all the committees for the integrity of research in Europe, it came out that there is an increase of falsification in science. I mean, falsification of images, of results, and so on. And so, and there is also an increase of detection of falsification. So, really, it happens to me to be in some of these committees of integrity, and the work is really increased a lot because of this. And so, there is also, just to say, a benevolent use, but also malevolent use. Yeah. And another point that was raised, it was also the fact that generally the problem of integrity was more in the so-called hard sciences. But now it's only also in the soft sciences, because you can use ChatGPT and maybe publish an article only using ChatGPT. So it's not really a research. And so that's another point I think we need to mention a little bit, because in our system, for example, in Europe, I don't know if it is all over the world, but I think it's also international, that's called publish or perish. So you have to publish too much, and so maybe we can use also in a bad way AI.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Yeah, this is a very good point, not just beneficial use, but also malevolent use. Yeah, so bioethics is relevant and leading here. And how can we comment? So first was just the natural science involved, and now so it's worse, because not just natural science, but also social science and the humanities. Yeah. So it's something that comes together with more possibilities. So more possibilities, more opportunities to have some malevolent use of technology. Yeah.
It would be interesting to know whether the problem is ChatGPT or the principle of publish or perish, which is also highly problematic. Yes, we have another question there.
Yeah. I think this is the more general question. Is artificial intelligence just a tool, or is something more than a tool? So this.
Thank you for your excellent presentation. You mentioned the importance of the impact that AI can have on democracy and education. I am from Latin America, and we live in a highly separated, segregated society where the participation in democracy and the access to education is also segregated by income. If we are, as a part of society, on the wrong side of information feeding or building up these systems, so when you ask for diversity, we are the ones that are being left aside, because we are not sufficiently, we don't have so much information or research or publications or even social information, ethnographies, national income figures, etc. So would you give us some guidelines or ideas on how to act or prevent or even repair the being on the wrong side of the feeding of the system?
Yeah, difficult question. So I think so. At the beginning, so the new artificial social media was political, something very beneficial, because so people who hadn't access to the information, they could communicate, and they could organize the protest. So at the beginning, it was very positive, the impact of social media on population and on segregated population, as you said. But now we are experiencing a different impact, think in terms of Cambridge Analytica. So, and then these promises that were there at the beginning, they are not anymore there. So therefore, it's difficult things about the role of X in the US elections. So how can we evaluate the role of X in the elections? More democratical communication, everyone can participate to the discussion, or is just a way to propagate fake news and malevolent information. Yeah. I really don't know, to give you some kind of guidelines for this. Yeah.
Yes, we have another question there. Please come to the microphone.
Thank you very much for the insights provided. Having a look at the heading, of the presentation, which says democracy and education in the time of AI, I've seen at least, I want to put a focus into the education part. And I see here in which, let's say, we have brought, let's say, all the benefits and threats, coming from using the different language large models, ChatGPT or any others, whatever, But somehow, I see that this missing, something on the education side, which is what will be, the role, or how does, AI affect, let's say, the role of learners, educators, the education systems, things like that. Because at the end, it's fine, ChatGPT, we can summarize, it could help, in the researchers, things like that. But then, what will be, let's say, the role of the education? We're here in a university, most of the people here, they're professors and things like that, because at the end, the learner, the student, may say, well, if I have ChatGPT, I don't need the teacher, I don't need the professor somehow, because I've got, because I'm being a little bit drastic, and I'm bringing this probably because I haven't seen that much, not in this session, in general, research into that part, because in the past, let's say, when I was in high school or something like that, we normally gave, let's say the educator, the authority based on the experience and the wisdom that they could provide, But now if let's say, they don't need, the learner, the student, they don't need this, any longer because they have ChatGPT and things like that. I mean, the ethical part is fine, but I think that we need to put a focus into the other part. So what's your opinion? What's your insights, from you, from anybody? Because I haven't seen that much so far, and this is something in which I really, let's say, in my research, or our research, we're putting a focus into that. I will appreciate your insights into that.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. So I have to say that I was very curious at the beginning with ChatGPT, and therefore I tried in my class to speak with the students. And there was some students, they were very silent, no engagement. But I asked, and they were very familiar with ChatGPT. They were able to explain to me how to use ChatGPT, and they were, so it was very insightful for me to see how they were very experienced, because so they were not so easy, it was not so easy for them to believe in this fake news. So this was a very, so the turning point, because they said, so when we read something given us to ChatGPT, we don't believe it. So our default mode is not to believe, and then to check. So we have a different mode. So we read something and we think, okay, it's true, and then we say no, it's not true. It's a fake news. So and their attitude is very different, because they are used to this new communication media. And therefore it was very interesting to engage with them. So as I said, even students that they were not very engaged in the classroom. So I was able, so I read the paper, so then engaged with the students, then I tried. So how can I use, because I'm not familiar, and they explained to me how to use ChatGPT, and they said, hey, fake news, no, you don't need to believe all you find there. So, I don't know. So as I said, so maybe the idea is not just that we can teach something, but we can converge. So you can learn something from them, and and I think I have yet some authority, so if I say something, I think they believe what I say. And this is a difference with ChatGPT. I don't know.
Yes, please.
Thanks a lot for your quite broad and in-depth analysis. I have two questions. The first one is about the problem of multiculturalism. I was reading an OECD study about LLM, and there are pinpointing two problems. The first one was the fact that there is a very strong majority of documents analyzed.
Can you speak
A bit louder. A bit louder? I'm sorry.
More near
This
to
one
the
perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah, better.
Okay.
Yeah.
I repeat? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So this OECD study was pinpointing two problems. The first one was about the problem of the linguistic diversity, pointing out the fact that most of the documents which are used by the big data are from US origin. And I was very surprised to learn that certain countries like Finland are spending a lot of money to be present with Finnish literature within this big data. The second one was perhaps more important. It was the fact that they consider that through the answer given by LLM, the dominant culture, it means the US culture, was influencing people, and I think that's very important. That's my first remark. What do you think there about? The second remark is definitely the last point, and I totally agree with you, the importance of inclusivity and diversity in AI development teams. And if I remember correctly, and I'm sure I remember correctly, the European Parliament has inserted within the Draft AI Act the obligation as regards the assessment of AI system, high-risk AI system, to have a multi-stakeholders and multidisciplinary assessment. Definitely, it was omitted by the last text. What are you thinking there about?
Yeah, I totally agree with this requirement of the AI Act, and so about so the other two points we have at multiculturality and diversity. So I think there are two requirements that we need to apply in ethics, not just in ethics by design. So we need to develop so the tools according to diversity, and we need to have the people who develop this coming from different backgrounds. And so we also have a kind of a monoculture in the we all speak English, and we all formulate the questions in our scientific field in the same way. So, and which is different from the way in which we talk in our country. And I think so artificial intelligence is enhancing so this tendency, trend. And I remember that there was a philosopher of language in Germany, Jürgen Trabant, and he was saying that we need obviously to speak English in order to communicate internationally and to publish internationally, but we need to make science in our own language as well. Otherwise, he said, so languages is just a bus, as a tool. So in a few here, we will just be able to order a pizza or to take a bus, but we are not anymore able to think, to make philosophy in our own languages. So, and I think so artificial intelligence is accentuating, is enhancing, augmenting this, so the worst of this tendency.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, we don't have time for other questions. I've seen other hands raised, but you have time during the break. We have a break. I don't know if it's a coffee break. Yes, there is also coffee. So we have a break, half an hour, and then we have the 3 parallel sessions. Thank you very much.